Fantasy football fan, what's going on? I'm your host of Fantasy Football AF, Mitchell Renz. You guys can follow me on Twitter at MitchellRenz365. I got an awesome show for you guys today because, well, it's the mailbag. They're questions from you, the viewers, and you guys got questions that need to be answered. Damn, I haven't even opened up my beer and I'm already tripping over my words, guys. So if we can get to the first question, I'm drinking some Shiner Bock. Let's send this mailbag going. First one is from my dude Mikey on Twitter. Which rookie running back, not named Saquon Barkley, has the best opportunity to produce this year? This is a high quality question, and well, because near and dear to my heart is Saquon. I get it, he's a freak. But the last 2 years of the NFL, a rookie has led the NFL in rushing. Kareem Hunt last year, 1,327 yards, and the year before that, Ezekiel Elliott with over 1,600 yards. So, can a rookie running back break out? Absolutely. So who are my top 5 running backs entering this season? Mikey, I'm going to even take it up an extra step. Here are my top 5 running backs. So I got Saquon Barkley at 1. I got Derrius Guice at 2. Sony Michel at 3. Royce Freeman at 4. And Ronald Jones, shout out to Rojo, met you just a few weeks ago, at number 5. And when you're looking at all these guys, I think you need to take as many pieces at a certain ADP as possible. All these guys can break out because we've seen rookie running backs. Just look at last year, Alvin Kamara, Christian McCaffrey. Like, these are guys, Kareem Hunt, all finished as top 12 running backs. Leonard Fournette, like, rookie running backs are coming in right now and blowing it up. For me, though, if I'm going to really put my money on a guy besides Barkley, I'm going to say Derrius Guice has the best floor to be safe. Sony Michel has the most upside, but has the worst floor due to his fumbling issues. Royce Freeman is a guy who I'm going to talk about a little bit later on, but I like him a lot. And then Rojo, I think if he can get the opportunity with the Buccaneers, I like it. But that schedule is really, really tough. Notice you don't see a guy by the name of Rashaad Penny because, well, I think he's cheap and he's a guy that I do not want on my team. All right, next question coming in from Twitter is my dude Steve. And, well, you're the 10th and 15th pick. Do your draft best available running back or available quarterback? Well, Steve, if you follow me on Twitter, and I know you do, I don't know why you're asking me if I would take a quarterback at picks 10 and 15. It's very frustrating to me. In fact, hang on a sec. I don't understand why people are taking quarterbacks this early because quarterback is so deep and you can get so many talented guys later on. How many quarterbacks last year do you think finished as a QB1? There was at least 42 quarterbacks last year that finished as at least one week as a QB1. You can stream quarterbacks. So I'm going to go running back, and if you're going to ask me about quarterback there, I don't see why you don't go running back, wide receiver, running back, running back. For me, though, I want you to Google running back draft tier draft strategy. You might find an article that I wrote. Okay, next question I got from Twitter. Mitch, please. Twitter is a keeper league. Would you keep Todd Gurley in the 2nd or DeAndre Hopkins in the 3rd? Okay, this is a good question, right? So I love Gurley. I've already talked about Gurley. He's my #1 running back in standard drafts. Then you got a guy like DeAndre Hopkins who, well, with Deshaun Watson last year was on pace for 1,500 yards and 17 touchdowns and 106 catches. Those are pretty elite numbers. So if Watson plays the entire season and he's got Hopkins, I'm going to go with a guy like DeAndre Hopkins in the 3rd round over a guy like Gurley. And it kills me to say it, but I feel like that value, right? So Gurley is, for me, like I said, he's either going to be pick 1 or 2. Hopkins, for me, is either pick 6 or 7. That's only 5 picks difference, and you're talking about an entire round difference. For that reason, I'm going to go with a guy like Hopkins in round 3. That value is just bananas to me, and it's something I cannot pass up. All right, those are my Twitter questions. Now we're going to dive in to some Instagram questions. Well, using that hashtag MitchPlease. If you guys want your questions answered, use hashtag MitchPlease because, well, I'm kind of a basic Mitch, and I like the hashtag. So this one's from Instagram, and it's from Nikki Bynum13, and even though your Instagram handle's kind of a bust, I like this question a lot, and it's Joe Mixon or Christian McCaffrey this year. And the reason why this is really interesting to me is because I like Christian McCaffrey, especially in a PPR league, but I also really like Joe Mixon. So Joe Mixon, the last 4 weeks of the season, averaged 5.0 yards per carry. So maybe he started to finally figure it out a little bit. This is a guy who I thought was probably the most talented running back entering the draft, to a guy who I heard a lot of people compare to a guy like Le'Veon Bell from a talent standpoint, not the running style, but the talent standpoint. I like Joe Mixon. But Christian McCaffrey, right? He's a guy, 112 targets last year. That's an insane amount of targets. And then they got rid of Jonathan Stewart. I like C.J. Anderson, but can they rely on him to just step in right away? Not quite sure. So Christian McCaffrey at his current ADP compared to Joe Mixon's ADP, which guy would I rather have? It's a really good question. And it's one of those that, well, this show isn't, just about me, guys. And it's a show where we're always going to bounce around ideas, and I want to know, what you guys ultimately think. So, perfect. Which running back would you rather have for fantasy this season? Would you rather have a guy like Christian McCaffrey, or would you rather have a guy like Joe Mixon? I mean, both guys are pretty solid running backs. For me, though, I'm still going to lean with a guy like Christian McCaffrey in PPR. In standard, it's a little bit closer, but I'm still going to go with a guy like McCaffrey, who I think is going to get more touches than a guy like Mixon. And, well, I haven't seen it from Mixon yet, and I still don't know if the Bengals are going to be all that great. Okay, next one I got for you guys coming up on the board, and it is another great question from Instagram. This is from TSKins number 2. Would you trust drafting Derrius Guice or Rashaad Penny in the 4th round? Well, first off, I'm going to tell you to go back and watch my last show, which you guys can probably find if you watch all the way through this show, because it'll be at the end on one of our end screens. But I'm not a big fan of Rashaad Penny. In fact, he's not even one of my top 5 rookie running backs. So I like Derrius Guice. He's my number 2 guy. Would I trust drafting either of them in round 4? I'll trust Derrius Guice light years before I draft Rashaad Penny. Rashaad Penny won't be on any of my teams. I can guarantee you that. I don't want anything to do with a guy like Rashaad Penny. That's just an absolute nightmare. But a guy like Derrius Guice, you're definitely piquing my interest at least a little bit. I mean, ultimately, I think Derrius Guice has a better floor. He's probably going to be the 1st and 2nd down running back. But, again, this show isn't about me. Would you rather draft Derrius Guice or Rashaad Penny? I want you guys to comment below what you would rather do. I want you to think about it, because there's been a lot of hype on both these players. So, think about it for... Got your answer? Cool. I'm going to go with Derrius Guice easily over a guy like Rashaad Penny. Okay, those are my Twitter questions. We did some Instagram questions. Now we're going to get into the guys who I think really make this show churn, and it's the people on YouTube, because y'all are crazy. People on YouTube are absolutely ruthless, and I love it. And we're starting with Joey 2 times. Why do I need to use a hashtag to comment on YouTube? Well, for one, Joey, it's my show, and I'm going to tell you what to do because I like the hashtag MITCHPLEASE. But I am also on more places than YouTube, believe it or not. There's more places on the internet than just YouTube. There's Twitter. You can follow me, humble plug, MitchellRens365. You can also follow me on Facebook, MitchellRens365. And guess what my handle is on Instagram? MitchellRens365. And you should always use the hashtag MitchPlease. That would be great, Joey, 2 times. Hey, it's me again, Mitchell Renz. You can follow me on Twitter, at MitchellRens365. And I appreciate you guys tuning in to Fantasy Football AF, because this show is indeed AF. And guess what that stands for? Actually, I don't even know if I can say it on air. Can I say it? Who knows? Regardless. Take a sip to my beer. Cheers to you guys. We're going to have a lot of fun on this entire show. And I want you guys to please subscribe to Chat Sports, because, well, that's how the show gets going. And the more people you can get interested in the show, the bigger it's going to get. And the more I can do it. And then we're just going to have even more fun. So, cheers to y'all right there. You know what? Cheers, Shiner Bock. It's a damn good beer. All right. Next one I got for you guys coming up on the board from YouTube. This one's from Jeremy Wright. The Price is Right. With it being more likely Dez Bryant goes to the Browns, where do you draft him at? Interesting question. Well, if you tell me right now Dez Bryant is a Brown, where do I draft him? I don't. Because I don't want Dez Bryant on my team, because the name Dez Bryant is going to make him shoot up draft boards. For that reason, I don't want a guy like Dez Bryant. And when you look at his last 3 years, because that's what I want you to do. 2017, 69 catches, but he only had a 50% catch rate, 838 yards, 6 touchdowns, sure. 2016, only 50 catches. 2015, only 31 catches. The guy hasn't had 1,000 yards since 2014. That's nothing I really want to buy into, and where he's going to go in drafts, and then especially if he goes to the hype train that what is the Cleveland Browns, nah, man, I'm good. That's, you guys can have Dez Bryant. I'm going to pass on Dez all day, every day. Next question from YouTube using the hashtag MitchPlease. It's from Tristan. Holy last name. All right. Andrew Luck in the 1st round or no? Andrew Luck in the 1st round or no makes me want to break this beer bottle over my head. Just thinking that people would even think that this is a real thing. Like, Tristan, maybe you're a first guy, like maybe you're new to fantasy football, and if you are, like, thank you for tuning in, because unfortunately, you need this advice probably more than most. Do not draft a quarterback in the 1st round. It doesn't make any sense. You can wait on quarterback. Like, I wouldn't take a guy like Aaron Rodgers until round 3. Why? Quarterback is so deep. Get your wide receivers, get your running backs, and maybe if a guy like Gronk is available late round 2, sure, not going to make the argument. Andrew Luck in round 1, oh my gosh, no. Like, no, wait, no. Okay. Next one, Tina, bring some life to this. Will Leveon Bell play all 16 games? I'll say this about fantasy. Fantasy football is fun, and the NFL is fun when the best players play. Obviously, right? I don't like to project injuries because, for one, I'm not a doctor. Sure, I have a PhD in fantasy football, but that's not what it stands for. I'm not a doctor. I don't want to predict injuries. So do I think Leveon Bell will play all 16 games? Sure. But fantasy football is always, you're always going to have risk. You're always going to have opportunity. But what I really want you to think about is the upside of a guy like Leveon Bell, right? Leveon Bell last year, 321 carries, 1,291 yards, 9 touchdowns. He finished as the RB2 behind only Todd Gurley, 406 touches. 406 touches is an insane, it is a shitload of freaking touches, and I get that. However, like, with that many touches could lead to an injury, and for that, do I think he's going to play all 16 games? I don't know. But he is, I will say, in a PPR league, my #1 overall pick. So I have a lot of confidence in a guy like Leveon Bell Cal. Okay, next question coming in from YouTube using hashtag MitchPlease. Dante Jones, will Tyreek Hill be as consistent as he was last year? Well, Dante, maybe you're the guy that's drinking, and yeah, I understand it's Sunday fun day, but Tyreek Hill was far from consistent last year. What do you mean consistent? He was a guy in the first half of the season, he had 90% of his yards on away games. How is that even kind of consistent? That doesn't even make a little bit of sense. And when you go back and you look at the numbers, I mean, he had 6 touchdowns on the road and only 1 on home. Like, and you're going to look at just some freak plays. Like, if Tyreek Hill was consistent to you, man, like, I'm sorry, like, he just wasn't. But I'll also say that I think Tyreek Hill's kind of going to be overdrafted this year because I think people think, okay, Patrick Mahomes, big arm, Tyreek Hill, super fast. Oh, that's going to lead to fantasy points. No, that's not how it works. Alex Smith was actually pretty good last year. Led the NFL with QBR rating of 104.7. Had the most deep, he was the best quarterback in passes over 15 yards. Sure, you could say Tyreek Hill was pretty good because of that, but do I think he's really going to be consistent? No, he only had 1 touchdown inside the red zone last year. That's hard to duplicate. 6 of his touchdowns came from over 40 yards. Not easy to do. I understand he's a freak speed, and sure, he's going to throw up the deuces once in a while, but I'm probably going to throw up the deuces to that because I don't think he's going to be very consistent. So, sorry, homie. Not too good. But luckily for you, you submitted 2 questions, so I get to bring up another one from you. But Dante, I need to take a sip of my beer. Hang on. Is Kelvin Benjamin actually a good target on the Bills this year, despite still being Kelvin Benjamin? So I don't really know how often I'm ever going to put 2 questions in from the same person, unless it's an amazing question, which this is. Like, I love how you phrase, is Kelvin Benjamin actually a good target, despite still being Kelvin Benjamin, because that's how it is. Kelvin Benjamin's not any good. He's unfortunately an overweight wide receiver, and I think if his name was Eddie Lacy, that's all we would talk about, because when Eddie Lacy gained weight, people were like, oh, Fat Eddie, feast mode. Like, I did it. I understand that, but Kelvin Benjamin's not really getting any of that because he's a wide receiver and he's not Eddie Lacy. Kelvin Benjamin is on the Buffalo Bills, who's going to be led by Josh Allen, A.J. McCarron, or Nathan Peterman. Yeah. That's gross. That is like, oh, like I don't even know an analogy. The analogy I made on my last week's show is that's a threesome that Meredith from The Office wouldn't even have, but I think that's pretty accurate. I just don't even understand how you could, like a guy like Kelvin Benjamin for that. No, I don't want anybody on the Bills. No way. That team's a joke. All right, next question coming in from YouTube using that hashtag MitchPlease. Does Royce Freeman have RB1 upside as a rookie? Does he have the upside? Sure. But here's the only issue, right? So the Broncos, they're going to use a running back by committee. At least that's what they're saying right now. They're going to have 2 to 3 main running backs in that backfield. That's what Vance Joseph said this week. However, Devonta Booker, I've seen play, not impressed. And then their other guy, who I can't even think of his name right now, which is never a good sign because that's all I do. You don't want that guy either because he didn't have a name, for God's sakes. He shows up to the party, who am I, and they just leave it blank. But Royce Freeman's a guy who I think is actually talented. Last year, 214 carries, 1,475 yards, 16 touchdowns at Oregon. I understand it's college. Drafted in the 3rd round, 71st overall. What I think of this guy, the year that he could have, I think of it a lot of as a guy like Jordan Howard. Jordan Howard had coming out as a rookie. I saw talent, but I didn't know if I could invest in the team like the Chicago Bears because, well, I didn't know if they were going to be very good. The Broncos have a pretty solid defense, and he's going to be a lot better than Booker, and he's going to be a lot better than D'Angelo Henderson. There's his name. And then I think if he can just get to around that 200 touch mark, sure, he could have a breakout year, and we've seen rookie running backs come out of nowhere and be the #1 running back in terms of rushing yards. You know, we saw it last year with Kareem Hunt. Why can't a guy like Royce Freeman do it? I like him a lot. He's my RB4. Okay, next question coming in from a guy like Bray. Dude, Bray is on this show more than anybody that I know. Like, Bray, what do you do in your free time? Like, I know your picture on YouTube is like a younger kid. Like, are you not gonna be able to show up like once school starts? Are you gonna be able to like hit us up at lunchtime, at recess? I don't know what we're gonna do without you, Bray, but I hope you keep coming back. What is one team that you should not even touch when drafting players? That team is known as the Cleveland Browns. The Cleveland Browns right now in terms of fantasy football have more players, listen to this, more players in the top 100 than any other team in the NFL. That's stupid. The Cleveland Browns went 0-16. They've won one game the last 2 years, and yet they have the most players in the top 100. Why? Recency bias, because we hear big names going in fantasy football drafts. I don't want Josh Gordon. I don't want Jarvis Landry. I don't want Tyrod Taylor. I don't want Carlos Hyde because there's a lot of mouths to feed. A lot of mouths to feed. And then if Dez Bryant goes to the Cleveland Browns, oh my Lord, I'm going to have to drink a six-pack on every show so I can get through it. What's the one team that you shouldn't draft a player on? Cleveland Browns. Too much hype. They're going to be better. Can't be much worse. And then when you hear a guy like Jarvis Landry saying they're going to have over 40 points a game, dude, reality check. I mean, let's be real. Let's be real. Okay. Next question I got for you guys coming up on the board is from Atomic Bacon YT. Shout out to Bacon because that shit's good. Okay. Is Saquon Barkley worth a top 10 pick? Good question. Is he worth a top 10 pick? And I'm going to say this pretty short and blank. Yeah. I think Saquon Barkley's worth a top 10 pick because that dude's really good. If you guys want to know what SPARK score is, it stands for speed, power, agility, reaction, and quickness. And it basically measures how amazing an athlete is. And if you want to think about it as like a term for SATs for high school students, that's what SPARK score is for NFL athletes. And he's in the 99th percentile. This dude would go to Harvard if Harvard opened up a school for SPARK athletes. That's how talented Barkley is. I compare him to David Johnson and LaDainian Tomlinson. So is he worth a top 10 pick? I think he is. But the show isn't just about me. I want to know from you guys, is Saquon Barkley worth a top 10 pick in fantasy football drafts? I think he's going to get a lot of work on the Giants team. And sure, the Giants had a lot of pass attempts last year, but they have Odell Beckham, Sterling Shepard. Then you're going to Evan Ingram, Eli Manning. They have a lot of offensive weapons there. I think he's worth the top 10 pick. Don't be surprised if he leads the league this year in total yards because, yeah, dude is absolutely special. Fantasy football fam, thank you so much for tuning in to Fantasy Football AF. I'm your host, Mitchell Renz. You guys can follow me on Twitter or any kind of social media at MitchellRenz365. And anytime you guys want to grab a beer, yeah, hit me up. Would totally be down. And until next time, guys, cheers to you.